Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Reach Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis. Excited to be back with you guys this morning. As you see, I have a special guest that I'm going to be bringing on that's in my virtual studio this morning. As you've seen her face, we'll be back with her in just a second. But this morning, man, I'm excited to start a new series. And again, as you can see, I'm doing it live from home. Shout out to Flow Studios. For those of you who missed it last week, we had a building fire, and as God would have it, Flow Studios was the only business that was not affected directly by the fire, but we were in a position where we had to leave the building. So we are making the adjustments that need to be made. I'm still bringing you the Reach Podcast Show weekly, sort of like the local news. They have to do it from home. They have to do what they have to do, and so we're doing the same thing. So I just want to thank you guys for still tuning in, being with us, and viewing my guests and myself and all the content that we're going to share with you guys. And so we're transitioning from what was the Excellence in Black Business interview series, and this week is the first episode of the new series, which I'm entitling King and Queen Conversations. And that's where we're going to be bringing you some different topics from week to week. This week, we're going to be talking about different things that affect us in the Black community, what it means to actually be a king and a queen, of course, in our opinions and how we see things. And, that'll be brought to you by myself and my special guest, Miss TAKIA Scott, and I definitely appreciate all the things that she's been doing. We want to bring her into the screen, but again, I want to thank my sponsors, which is Candace Joseph and the Joseph Consulting Firm. Lady, you just don't know how much I appreciate you. Get with Candace about anything, man. She's the person that's doing my graphics, that's doing my flyers. She lifted that burden off of me. So it's not just her. She has a whole team of about 7, 8. I don't know. She might have 20 people now, So shout out to the whole Joseph Consulting team. I appreciate everything that you guys are doing for myself and the Reach Podcast. Shout out to my boy Eddie Machete of Rolling Bones Custom Barbecue and Catering. Appreciate you being a sponsor of the show as well. So if there's any of you that's viewing and you're out there and you want to get some notoriety or you just want to support something that's doing great, which is the Reach Podcast Show, contact me at the Reach Podcast Show at gmail.com. You can become a sponsor. That'll get you highlights and features on social media, and just give back in that fashion, and you can also get a show on the Reach Podcast Show. So anybody that's looking to be a sponsor or want to support this show, just reach out to me. You can inbox me on Facebook, whatever the case may be. We would appreciate you as well. And as always, man, shout out to the whole city, the whole world. We're all dealing with this COVID deal. I hope nobody's really dealing with it personally still. If you have, I hope you've gotten past it. God bless and rest the souls of all the people that we have lost, man. There's been so many casualties with this. But, I just want to make sure that, I put that at the forefront, that we all have to stay strong and continue to do the things that we're doing, to keep moving forward. And never forget, which you'll get a lot more of this, is self-care is the best care. You have to take care of yourself. So those are things that we must remember. But without further ado, I want to welcome my beautiful Black sister queen. That's what I called you on my post.
Sister Queen.
Sister queen, welcome to the show. Let the people know who you are.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. And thank you. Shout out to everybody who's listening. I hope y'all in great health. My name is TAKIA Scott, owner and founder of Sophisticated Images, where we rebuild confidence through hair replacement, where we deal with people who are, I don't even want to say suffering, it's just dealing with any kind of hair loss. We rebuild confidence through making them hair units like one I got on my head.
It's always popping. You always looking at this stuff. Definitely want to salute you on all that you do. And there's we got to touch on it a little bit. So let the people know with sophisticated images. Overall, why are you doing what you do? And by the way, now I have to have you back a third time. As I've been trying to get you in the studio for the longest. It's
always we just can't get to the studio.
We just can't get to the studio, but I love the vibe that we have, and it's always a good time. You're back this time because had you booked, and as some people know, I booked my shows well in advance, and then we got hit with COVID. We tried to get things together with the virtual look, and it was a disaster. So I'm like, you know what, I owe you a show, but in our eyes, well, in my eyes, I felt like it was a disaster. Just because of the way it was, and
it's just all about switching your mindset, like you were saying earlier.
Absolutely. So, I felt like we needed to do it again. The message was definitely heard, for sure. And you touched a lot of people. So when I say it was a disaster, that's something that's between me and you. But in this time, it's a little bit better. But I got to get you and have that energy in the studio. So y'all look for TAKIA Scott. And if y'all hear me say Tika, never mind me.
I know.
Never mind me, Miss TAKIA Scott.
I gave it up.
Yeah. But welcome to the show, sister. And so with all that being said, just let the people know why you do what you do, because there's a bit of a backstory to it.
It became a whole lot of different reasons, as I've been in the industry for over 25 years. So it initially started with me having hair loss at birth, and then it graduated to by 8th grade I was doing other people's hair, and then by the time I was an adult in my earlier 20s, I had a full clientele, but my whys kept on changing. First, it was just because I wanted to grow people hair, and then it increased to wanting to be able to share my story and help other people out. And now it's just been blossomed into just relationships that just ongoing. I love it.
That's what's up. And I mean, I follow your page. You always got something going on. You're doing, I don't know, what do you call them? Editorials or not editorials, tutorials. When you're doing
tutorials, I have tutorials. I always feel like each one of us here to teach each one of us, so we can all learn from each other. So anything that I know, I try to share that, or anything that someone has interest in and it can help somebody else. I just always feel like that's impactful.
Absolutely. And another thing I'm doing, I'm getting the show going on my other page, and making sure as many people can connect with us as possible. So for all the viewers, man, share this live feed right now. But yeah, I mean, we mentioned that on the last show, and I know we won't get into that, because we're going to save those special nuggets for the next time you come on, which
that's fine.
In a couple months. And also shout out to the Flow Studio family, my sister Coco, who's the head and the CEO of Flow Studios. We're looking to be in a new location here very soon, but y'all just keep the Flow Studio family in y'all prayers. But so leading to what we've come to talk about today, which is our King and Queen Conversations. With us talking, we've decided to speak on the fact of what does it actually mean to be a king and a queen? What does it actually look like? How do you define yourself that way? And what I was saying is that I feel like it's just a whole mental thing. You have to own those things as we do it. And for anybody who wants to chime in, shout out to Sister Catherine Tatum. She says, "Good morning, beautiful people." Yes, I love Kathy. Kathy gonna give it to you straight lace. She's gonna give it to you straight lace. So if anybody has any comments, this is also a chance for my viewers to be interactive. Each show in the series will definitely be interactive. If you have any comments, definitely put those out there, and we will address them.
What's the number people can call in at?
Yeah, so it's 832-994-6008. Again, that number is 832-994-6008. If you want to call in, we'll put you on speaker. Again, I'm at home, not quite sure how well that's going to work, but we're going to make it work. I'm not usually a producer at all, but that's something we can do is make sure that we get everybody's points across. So, the first thing on my mind, we were talking a little bit about it, is King and Queen Conversations. I think it's so important for us, as I put up, also your website on here so everybody can see. I think it's very important for us to recognize that it's a decision. We have to move in certain ways, in certain light, and we have to own that kingship and that queenship just in our everyday life. you know,
Mm-hmm.
and we were talking about our kids, your grandkids, and just what that looks like. But for me, you have to own where you are, you know, just in your steps and in your life journey, and you have to speak those things into existence, and you have to own whatever space you're in because everybody's journey is different, and you have to actually step into those platforms as far as being a king or being a queen, and you know, own that in a manner to where it's being seen that way, you know, and
Mm-hmm.
we have to be those role models. And a lot of people say they're not a role model or they're not this and they're not that. And it's not that you're a role model per se. It's just that once it's a buy-in. I keep saying it's a buy-in. And if everybody keeps buying in and everybody is moving in a certain fashion, then I think it will make things a little bit better. But how do you see that? You know, being a queen. You know, and let everybody see your shirt. You had the shirt on. I was like,
I
okay,
just felt like it was appropriate.
absolutely appropriate. Absolutely.
And it has a lot of black women on there, but I feel like everybody is a queen. If you're a female,
Absolutely.
you're a queen. So
Absolutely.
it represents all different nationalities. So don't let that fool you.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I think we all are born kings and queens because we come from the Most High. Our Father, He already ordained us to be queens and kings. So how you walk under your title is up to you.
Absolutely.
It's that people watching you, whether you know it or not. So it's how you carrying yourself that somebody can say you're not a queen, but you're born a queen.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have to just own that, you know,
Yes.
and that's my thing. You know, and as most people know, if you don't know, I'm the founder and president of Dad Chronicles Incorporated, which is a nonprofit that's geared to basically help the youth. You know, our specific focus is the men and the older men in the community. And my tagline is "We're changing the world through the youth, one dad at a time." You know,
Uh-huh.
it goes on to say one mentor at a time, you know, one male at a time, because everybody's not a dad per se, you know, but you're definitely a male, number one. You definitely can be a mentor. And if you happen to have kids of your own, then you become a dad. And so it's important for us to own that kingship and speak life and those things into our youth, you know, specifically our black men, because they're killing us. That's something else we were talking about, you know, and it's just hard for us to begin with, you know what I'm saying? And so
Mm-hmm.
we have so much stacked against us. And last night, shout out to my son's AAU basketball team, Team Sir. You know, we were at practice last night, and we have an individual. I mean, he's gritty. You know what I'm saying? He gonna get in your face, and he just gets
Uh-huh.
lost in that moment. And it's like, bro, like calm down. You know what I'm saying? Like chill. You know, he ready to fight or whatever the case may be.
How
And
old is he?
he's 15, 16.
Okay.
He's 16. And so last night we were at practice, and what he didn't know, there was this elderly man, older black guy, retired NBA player, and I'm not gonna mention any names, but he's a retired NBA player, and he goes to the gym every week, you know, and he's just scouting. Really, you know, he's probably in his 70s, so it's really like a pastime for him. You know what I mean? But
Uh-huh. Uh-huh.
being 70 years old, being a black man, being a former NBA player, just imagine the wisdom that he has to share, you know, and
Uh-huh.
so that's what he was there for. So last night, this particular player got real gritty, you know, and before he knew it, he was talking crazy to our coach and talking crazy to the other players. And again, that's just how he is. But it's like, brother, you can't do that. And so I was outside actually trying to have my open house meeting on my phone. You know, I'm trying to juggle everything, trying to do the open house
Oh
meeting
Lord.
and stuff. And so they come out there, and the guy was like, "Man, Trey, you know," and it's like, "What? You out here again, boy? I just talked to you. I just talked to your daddy 2 days ago. You don't have to calm down. You was tripping at the tournament, this, that, and the other." So my point behind all of this is that one, you never know who's watching. Two, you know, you can ruin a career or you can ruin your path very early in life if you don't be serious about it and own it. You know, and in
Mm-hmm.
that space, you're there to play ball. You know what I'm saying? And the things that I told him, I made him read out our mission on Dad Chronicles to get him to understand there's people who care about you. You know what I'm saying? Then you're privileged to have your mother and your father in the same home and they've been together 22 years. You know what I'm saying? So they were
Uh-huh.
definitely solid before you. So you have to own those things. You know what I'm saying? You're in a perfect position to walk out your kingship, to move forward in things that you need to do. And I sat there and I listened to the older gentleman talk to him, and he gave him some of the same things I was telling him. And I'm letting them know, like, bro, like, for example, I just did a fundraiser where I'm looking to help the youth of the community. And don't you think I'm going to help some of the youth that are around me more close and personal? And I showed him, I'm like, can you think of something you want to buy? He's like, yeah. I say, now look at it like this. My nonprofit has raised something. I can literally give you this money and let you go get whatever you want to get it. But after you did what you did, do you think I'm going to do that? You know what I'm saying? So it's just that simple to where you have to pay attention to the things that you're doing, And so that was just like a little message. Hopefully it reaches somebody else. You can't just be wild in the things that you're doing. You have to pay attention to, the way you're moving. You know what I'm saying? So that was just a little story I wanted to share, on
And
that.
I get that. I get that. My point of view might be a little different on some of it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because you saying that the young man was 16 years old, correct? So at 16, you're really not the same person as, I don't even want to put your age out there, but I would say
42. I'm 42.
42, 42. So I just use myself as an example. I'm not the same 16-year-old as I am 42 years old, so my understanding gonna be different. So in that little gap of them years is a whole lot of forgiveness that you give the young man for what he don't know. He don't know what you know. So I extend a lot of grace to teenagers, to young men, to young ladies, because we here to show them, but we can't harbor on the fact that they don't know what they don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I totally agree with you on that. That's the other side of it, because as the older gentleman was talking to him, because it's at a point, like, you got to understand, this basketball practice, right? So it's not really that platform where we give them, not me, but the coaches. You know what I'm saying? You there to play basketball. They expect you to be there to play basketball and understand. So that was the aspect I was speaking to him from. So after everybody left from around him, I'm like, hey, man, extending that grace and that understanding, you have to also, but see, my thing about it is we have to speak the understanding into them. We have to not necessarily make them understand, but push them toward the process of developing the understanding, because I'm a strong believer. A lot of people say it, males develop slower than females. I don't know if that's a actual fact, but I see that to be true in some cases. But my thing was, find out what you're upset about. You know what I'm saying? Try to figure that part out, because as adults, everybody just got through talking at you. You know what I'm saying? I'm somebody that you can come to, and that was the reason of him reading my mission with my nonprofit. I wanted him to have some bells go off in his head, like, you know what? There's like, I'm already there for you as a dad on the team dad, a team manager, supporting my son and supporting all the sons that are out there. You know what I'm saying? And I talked to him. So my thing was definitely giving him that grace and helping him understand. I know you don't understand, just like you said. I know you don't see it right now, but that's why I'm talking to you. You know what I'm saying? So don't just blow it off, take it for, granted, because that is where you miss those opportunities, even at an early age. You know what I'm saying? Especially in sports. So it's like, find out what, is bothering you. You know what I'm saying? Find out what's bothering you. You can talk to me. If it's not me, talk to anybody. You know what I'm saying? Just get comfortable with the situation and make sure you talk to somebody, because we have to give that grace to these kids, So I totally agree with you on that, So yeah, I mean, I definitely get that, you know what I'm saying? And so that was some of the stuff that I was telling them as we got off to ourselves, because I'm like, hey, I didn't want to say it in front of your mom, but it could be a situation where, your mom and your dad is here, they make it like, oh yeah, I teach them this and teach them that. But when you leave, you can be going home getting beat. You know what I'm saying? And you're not going to tell anybody
not knowing their personal situation.
Yeah, and so that's why I'm like, bro, don't think we're talking at you. Don't think we're coming down on you. But I know you have a story too, and when I told him that, I could see it was something. Still don't know what it is, but he has the opportunity to reach out to me, and I hope that there's somebody that he can actually talk to. But it's those small things and those moments that we have to capture and extend the grace, like you said, to these younger individuals. And I just felt like that was a perfect time for me to extend that grace and extend that compassion to that young man. Which is an example of moving into kingship, moving in the purpose of my nonprofit anyway. That's what I'm going to do anyway. But
Okay.
also give another individual the opportunity to see, what, it's not just mom and dad telling me this. There's people out here that care, and I'm in a situation where whatever's wrong with me, even if it's something really, really, really an issue, I have somebody I can talk to. I have the opportunity to go and speak on it. It's like the Me Too movement. Don't be quiet for so long. You know what I
Uh,
mean? Just go ahead and speak on it. But yeah, so that's just kind of where I was at on that. And that leads me into what I wanted to ask you, having your grandkids, your grandson, I see you playing with him all the time. Like, how does the state of America or just the state of the world, what are the things that you instill or you suggest being instilled in the kids? What are the boundaries these days? If you consider yourself having some, as far as the killings and as far as the information that's given, do you feel like it's a situation where you need the person to expose them to it, or you feel like it's not something that you should share with them so much?
with my grandson, he is 2, so it's a little different
Right.
because he a little kid, he a baby, he a toddler.
Yeah.
But with my older kids, my parenting skills was I introduced you to what the world was going to show you anyway, but I introduced it to where you can make a decision for yourself. So
Gotcha.
you conscious of what's going on, but you're able to make a conscious decision on how you're going to react to the situation.
Yeah.
So a lot of people will probably call my parenting skills quite different because I look at it like I'm not gonna tell you not to eat the candy. I'm gonna say if you eat the candy, you might not want to eat too much because you're gonna get a stomach ache. But if you choose to do it,
Yeah.
guess what? You might end up with a stomach ache.
Be prepared for the consequences.
Be prepared for the consequences. So I like that kind of work for me instead of turning a blind eye
Yeah.
to anything or pretending like it's not there. It just didn't work for me because that's kind of how I was raised, but it didn't work out.
Gotcha.
So I like to make my kids, my grandkids, my lineage aware of whatever is going on, and you making conscious decisions on how you gonna react. Because at the end of the day, that's who you in charge of, yourself.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And so it kind of goes into people having the understanding of, again, knowing what you're going into and knowing the possibilities of what can happen, and being able to process that. And it's the processing is where I think a lot of us get mixed up with the decisions that we need to make. And so that becomes a self-taught skill, kind of, trial and error, as they say. But one of the things that I like to do is, that's why I teach the chess deal, help these kids and even adults, because like I always say, every man, I always say Barack Obama and Jay-Z, they can look in the mirror every day. And if they stare long enough, they can figure out something that they can fix for themselves, So
Uh-huh.
it's that situation where you have to process things and actually what they call it the role playing. You have to actually role play things in your mind and think things out, and try to make the best decision that you can, and
Uh-huh.
also seeking counsel. Which I know you're big on that. As far as if there's a problem, you want to be able to have a solution.
Yeah.
So kind of speak on that and your mindset behind that. And why you think it's important to be part of the
I
solution and not the problem.
Well, I always feel like it's easy to state a problem and harbor on it.
Hmm.
I feel like you state the problem and you come up with at least 10 solutions for it. Because when you're coming up with solutions, the first 5 might sound crazy, but then it's gonna start making sense once you get about to the 10th one. You're gonna be like, this kind of can work.
Yeah.
So I always like to stick with solutions more than a problem. So in America, it's so many problems that can be stated. That's why it becomes overwhelming in some instances. Right now, we got COVID going on, we got protests going on, we got killings going on, then we got day to day life stuff going on. So it's so many different compartments that's coming with it right now. That's why we was talking about mental health and stuff like that. Who you got to check in. You got to do a lot of checking in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it's right now. I think it's about individually going to find your place of happiness. I was when we first got on. I asked you who did that painting right there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you say, oh, I kind of picked that up.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, that's what I do too. I paint. It's just finding the stuff that kind of calm you back down to, I call it just stabilize you. Stabilize you. I don't care what that is. For me, sometimes it's going to ride my scooter. I'll go ride my motorcycle, whatever. It's whatever you want to be doing to stabilize you because there's a lot going on in the world.
Right.
A lot.
Right. And if people follow you, you like to have fun. That's one thing.
I like to have fun.
You like to have fun, man. You be living it up.
I do. I like to have fun.
That's good. And that's just great advice there within itself is, just do whatever you need to do that's going to make you smile, and that's positive and gives you good energy because that's just the beginning. Like you said, if you just going to ride your scooter up and down the street, because
I'll let my hair blow in the wind.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it just makes a difference. It really, really, really does. And that's some things I can take advice for myself. You know what I mean? Just you get to a situation where you have so much going on, you don't get a chance to leave time for yourself, and that's important. And just over the last couple of weeks, I've been so busy. I don't even really get on Facebook that much no more. I'll be trying to hurry up and get my post up about the show. You know what I'm saying? And so we have to really.
And I'm in the same boat. Don't get me wrong, but I look at it as prioritized. So you prioritize your time. For me, it's all about balance. Like I'll prioritize the fact that I can get on social media and interact with people who I'm not seeing on a day-to-day basis. But then I'll get in the kitchen and cook with one person. Oh, okay, let's cook. This our relationship. So taking that time to do that, and then I'll work, but I enjoy my work, so it's like play for me. So it's just taking each sector of your life and balancing it out and having a time for that.
Absolutely. And so for anybody who's just tuning in, and we actually have a question we'll get to, which is kind of shift the gears. So again, this is what the king and queen situation looks like. Conversations it's not really anything in particular. It's about what's on our mind. It's about what's pressing on our mind, and just giving everybody an opportunity to just speak, release thoughts, and basically again speak on it. But if there's anything that any of the listeners wants answers to, or anything that you want to chime in on, you can definitely do that. And so again, this is the first episode with Miss TAKIA Scott, and she's the CEO and founder of Sophisticated Images, and a hairstylist, wig stylist, whatever you want to call it. So that leads, we'll take a pause where we were at and go to a question from your sister, Kathy Taylor. And as you can see, the question is, how long does lace front and glue and days allow the wig to stay on?
So if you use good question, Kathy, since we're talking about it.
Right.
So lace glue, if you're using lace glue, if you got hair, I suggest not use lace glue if you got hair, because if you putting it on your hair, it's a medical adhesive. It was already started out for people in the medical. If you got hair loss, that's medically. So you take the chances of your hair coming up out of your follicle, and then you really gonna need a lace front. So you gotta choose the right glue if you're using the glue, and that's usually one that's it's kind of this kind of got a movable gel to it. It's not going to pull your hair out of your follicle, but it usually lasts up to about 2 weeks. Some, give or take, if you don't sweat in your head, it can last up to a month. So it's different ways to wear it with the glue and without the glue.
Okay.
If that answers your question, Kathy. Good question, though.
Absolutely, absolutely. And questions and topics will kind of be all over the place, and that's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah, absolutely. Because again, this is just a conversation. But going back to the king and queen part of it is something else we were talking about. You're from Georgia,
I'm from Georgia.
Is it Savannah? Am I remembering?
Savannah.
See, I remember. So Savannah, Georgia, one of the topics we were talking about was part of this king and queen deal for me was us as a black community owning the things that are meant for us to have. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, we were born kings and queens. We were promised a good life. God made those promises to us, but we actually have to put in the work to get there. And so one of the things that you're used to is the networking of black folks, and there's a difference when you came here to Texas, and it took some adjusting. So kind of speak on that, like what you came from, what you see here, and what you're seeing now.
Okay. Well, with my childhood, my mom was a professor at Savannah State. Savannah State is a local college in Savannah. So
I love your accent.
What'd you say?
I said I love your accent. You say my mom was a professor. Now go ahead.
So she kept us on a college grounds every summer. We was in Upward Bound. We was active on the college grounds where it's a lot of blacks in Savannah.
Yeah.
And now, granted, in Savannah, it's still a racist barrier.
Mm-hmm.
You black or you white. It ain't really nothing in between.
Right.
But being around positive community, it instills something in you that just don't leave you. That's why I'm always hovering on your community. Your community is your support. Your community is who kind of groomed you. And if you don't know you're a queen yet, you'll end up understanding that you're a queen with a strong community behind you. Right. Anyway, to go on to say, growing up on a college grounds, it kind of is different growing up because we're still in the South in Texas. Not to take nothing away. In Georgia, like I say, it's a lot of either black or white. In Atlanta, it's a lot of black. So they do a lot of cross marketing. You will see a lot of people in Atlanta where it's an everyday thing to support a black business. Mm-hmm. Here in Houston, that I found that it's a melting pot. You got Hispanic, you got Indian, you got blacks, you got whites, you got racists. It's a melting pot. Mm-hmm. So you got different pockets across the city where it kind of break things up, and you don't have a community that come together for one big cause.
Right.
So that's what I see the difference is. Not that it's a bad thing, but being in a larger metropolitan city, you're gonna get something a whole lot different.
Right. And I know in Atlanta that the ownership too of the city is a lot of blacks. You know what I'm saying? And I have a couple of friends that are out there, and they're always talking about how people are coming together. They're buying the properties. They're buying buildings, buying homes, and like I was telling you, that's something that me and a few of my friends are talking about right now. And shout out to our sister Candace Joseph.
Yeah.
She said, yes, having support is key. Community is very important, and her and Kathy, they're the epitome of just volunteering themselves.
But if you get a group of people together, it's like a fist. Y'all gonna have some punches. Absolutely. But if you got that one person that stand alone, all you're gonna be doing is pointing.
Yep.
But you can a community of people can create a fist, and that's what I like to create fists. I like to have people around you, and everybody play their part. Everybody not gonna play the same role.
Right.
Like you said in Atlanta, you might have people that come together and they buying property. That don't mean everybody a real estate agent.
Yeah.
That means that you might be the real estate agent. I might be the money person.
Yeah.
But when we come together, that's when things gonna start to happen. But if you got that one person that stand alone, you're gonna be standing alone for a long
A
time.
long time. Absolutely.
Not that you can't get it done, but it's more
The road is
effective.
longer. The road is
Yeah.
long. We just have to say it for what it is. The road is longer that way. And that's one thing I'll tell you since getting involved into the nonprofit community and volunteering my time. Um, you know, things may not move the way you want them to, but they're definitely moving. And I can tell you it moves a lot faster. And it's just the joy and the blessings that come out of that. And you never know what position you're going to put yourself in if you just give of yourself. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? You give of yourself selfishly, selflessly, then, there's a bigger result. And that's what people have to understand is that we were born to serve our people. You know what I'm saying? That's the other thing. But it's a lot of people right now that are just doing it for themselves. And if we can get outside of that, that's another thing about kingship and queenship. If we can get outside of ourselves, because what do king and queens do? They serve a whole castle or a whole community,
Mm-hmm.
a whole
Mm-hmm.
neighborhood, and just try to make it stronger. That's what it's all about, making your area a lot stronger. And that's one of the things that I think is very, very, very important. If we get away from the selfishness, then things could work out a lot better in a lot of situations.
When you say selfishness, you saying selfishness as individuals, or you saying as a whole?
Individually.
Individually.
So like, for example, the fist, you're about to make that fence, but you got that one pinky that just won't go. You know what I mean? And if they understand that they just go in, then now you got that fist. So more from that aspect. But at the same time, this is like I said, we're gonna tell it like it is. Because this kind of goes into the self-care, right? So you can't lose yourself as well. That's another thing that I want people to know. You can't lose yourself. You have to always keep yourself first. But that's more of a mental. You know what I'm saying? Don't lose yourself in anything that you're doing, and always put your mental first. But when you're serving, don't think about self. Think about the bigger cause and think about the bigger effect that you're going to have as a whole. Is
Mm-hmm.
my thing, on that part. Yeah. So let's see. Candace is saying, she says, I'm going to love this series. I appreciate it, sister. And then
I
she
love
also
it.
said, yes, that fist. Takia is awesome. She brings peace and light wherever she goes. I
I
mean,
love it. I
absolutely.
love Candace though.
Yeah, absolutely. And just that's another thing, man. So she totally understands and gets the team effort, which is part of what we're talking about. She got a big old fist over there. You know what I'm
I
saying?
know.
And the people support. They don't think about it. They just do it. That's
Yeah.
that's another thing. They just do it. Her whole team is live, and everybody are bosses. That's the other thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It's not. You know. Shout out to Sister O. She just said, "What's up?" So everybody plays a role. That's the important thing. Everybody plays a role. Everybody knows their role and knows who they are, and they bring what they bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
That's the most important thing about having that fist or having that team or having that common goal. Shout out to my man Zay. I found that funny last week. I had Zay on here, and the name of his production company is Common Goal Productions. So it's all about having that common goal. Everybody's trying to reach it. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it relates to what we're talking about now. If everybody has that common goal and they stick to what they can bring to the table, it makes a huge
And
difference.
everybody brings something different.
Yeah,
Trust me. No
absolutely.
two people bring the same thing.
Yes. So what I like to hear from you too now is more of you for yourself. What does Tika tell herself, or what has Tika had to go through to own the queenship that she just exudes these days? What is some advice or whatever? How would you speak on that for yourself from your standpoint? Yeah,
Personally. Oh, because it's so many different aspects of a person. So ultimately, it's accepting yourself for who you are,
right,
good, bad, and ugly, and letting go of whatever you told yourself in the past. And I always tell people you only have your moment. Like, I don't have my past and I don't have my future, but I got this moment. And in this moment, you just be the best you can be in your moments
right.
and take hold of your moments.
That's good. That's good. and that helps people move forward, because a lot of people are dragging these bags, or they
Yeah,
holding on to this
yeah.
weight.
It's called
You know,
baggage.
yeah. Wait, what you call it?
It's called baggage.
Bag. Oh, okay. I thought you said something else. Okay. Yeah, baggage. Absolutely. We gotta free ourselves of that, and it makes.
And that's not always easy. I just want to let that be known.
Yeah.
In no way, shape, or form, I take that lightly. Where people just get rid of baggage.
Right.
No, it does take a lot of self-reflecting. So I'm 42 now. So you talking to a 42-year-old self
Come
that
on now.
once
You're not
was
42.
21 or 25.
Look, you're not 42 now. Stop telling me the story. Yeah, and let's see. So, Sister Kathy, she says something else. Let's see. I'll let you read it to
She said people have to find, I guess it's their own purpose. If you only following what others doing, you become a clone and not an original. I like that.
her. Yeah.
Find your own purpose. Your Facebook and your circle can be different. Don't clone others, friends, business associates, ideas, Facebook. And I like that because everybody is unique. That's what I mean by everybody gonna bring something different to the table.
Yeah.
And if you can be your authentic self, I just look at that as irreplaceable.
Yeah.
You're irreplaceable if you can be your authentic self and you come across a whole lot different to people. Because
Hmm.
before I was able to put myself out on social media personally, I was like, oh my God. People dress so business like. People dress and it ain't me. So
Hmm.
I had to be me. And
Yeah.
whoever draw to me is fine. And if you don't draw to me, that's fine too.
Yeah.
But
I still love
yeah,
you.
I know I still love you. I'm
Yeah.
still wishing the best for you. So it's I like what she's saying. Be your authentic self and find your people. Find your people that is on the same page with you. And if you're not on the same page, I'm gonna still wish you well
Right.
on
Right.
whatever you're doing, whatever endeavors you got going on. Go 100% with it.
Absolutely, absolutely. So I have to give you this time, which I do for all my guests. I call it your commercial. So just tell people who you are. You're the CEO of what, how they can find you, while I put it all up on the screen.
Okay. Okay. Well, as you already know, I'm Takia Scott, CEO of Sophisticated Images, where we transform lives through hair replacement and hair enhancement. You can find me on Instagram as Sophisticated Images. You can find me on Facebook at Sophisticated Images. My website is sophisticatedimages.com. If you're trying to book with me, it's better to just call me in person. Call the business line 832-722-8323. That's again 832-722-8323. Because what I do is a lot of customization, so I have to have more detail than just booking a straight appointment with me.
Yeah, you're not the average stylist.
Um,
Yeah. You serious with it, and I encourage everybody to check out your Instagram, man. That's like it's like a show. You can get some popcorn and just look at it, and just watch it. But so another thing, as far as what we're talking about, is you kind of touched on something. I like to say, I had a little something to do with it, but I'm just
what's
joking.
that?
When you were talking about um, before you got on Facebook, and I was telling you, you needed to go and get out there. You need to go
Yeah.
and do something. Like I say, I feel like there's something bigger, and I'm just saying that I don't know what it may be. It may not be anything, but don't be, and I'm not talking to you on this part, but just sharing as far as like people, if they feel driven to do something, that's another part of this whole king and queen deal. If you feel driven to do something, then that's the deposit. If it's tugging on you, tugging on you, tugging on you, just go ahead and do it. You know what I'm saying? And I'm big on that. If you don't know what to do, just start. And
You're right.
make it
You're
be
right.
known. People are going to support you. The right people are going to support you. And you never know where to go. And I'm a living testimony to that. This is episode 40 or 41 right now. And I never thought that I could pass episode 10. It's like. And I know there's plenty of other people that are doing way more as far as these episodes and stuff like that. But it's just the fact that you latch onto something and you give it all you got, and make
Well,
it the natural thing.
not to cut you off right there, but I'm
Yeah,
liking what you're saying. It's really, I had to learn this for myself, is enjoying the journey. And
yeah,
I feel like, okay, and this for anybody who got a dream. Because Candace, I'm watching you too. Candace doing whatever God
everything.
implanted in her soul. And I love it.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, look, hold on real quick. So I texted, I don't know if I texted or put it on Facebook. Candace, I know you listening, so let me hear you say you're not photogenic again. Girl, that girl pictures be live. She told us she ain't photogenic. Yeah, right.
it's called tweaking and editing, baby.
Yeah, yeah. But go ahead.
But I was saying that if God then planted the seed for you to have a dream, my prayer always is, okay, God, you didn't give me the dream. You're gonna have to walk ahead of me.
Yeah,
In other words, He gonna direct your path. He gonna make everything get out the way for the path that He didn't plant it in you.
right, right.
So that's just always my prayer. You're gonna have to lead me,
Yeah,
because I don't know what I'm doing. I'm
yeah.
just doing,
You
because
just
you
doing it.
already gave me the dream.
And that's a big part of it too, having that ear and having that discernment to be able to pay attention and focus and lock in, on those type of things. So that's definitely definitely a big part of it. And again, salute to you on you're giving life to people too. You know what I'm saying? Which is part of the whole king and queen thing. Is if you can help somebody else be a little bit better, and I'd like for you to kind of speak on that part of it a little bit, the confidence that you're giving these people, because, you always hear if you're sick. I always think about when I'm sick, and I don't get sick much at all,
Uh-huh.
but if I get out the bed and I dress up, or, make sure I have a haircut, you just
Uh-huh.
feel a whole lot better. You know what I'm saying? And I know for sure that relates to you and the confidence that you're giving folks through the hair restoration. So, if you have a little story, or just whatever you want to speak on that, I'd like to hear.
Well, of course I can piggyback on that, because hair restoration, that's just a confidence builder in itself.
Yeah,
But I feel like like you were saying with Candace, I watch what Candace do, but I'm gonna feed off of her energy too. I'm gonna feed off of, if Candace can do that. Wow, just
yeah,
imagine what, if God didn't blessed her in this way. He ain't stopped with just Candace. He ain't
yeah,
stopped with just LeVar. He ain't stopped with just Takia. It's extended to everybody to just grant His blessings. So that's always just my thing.
yeah,
If we feed off of each other energy,
yeah,
there's so many people I follow that I just get motivated. I go on Instagram and get motivated. My
yeah.
whole timeline is people like, oh, I'm so glad you're winning. Like, I love to see people win.
Yes, yes. And again, that's a perfect segue, because I was definitely getting into, that's the other thing, and of course, this king and queen conversation. So I relate everything to that. We have to be mindful of our circle. My mom, she posts the word every morning and tags me and my kids in it. And yesterday it was about being aware of the people who drain you versus the people who deposit great energy in you. And I felt like that was just some awesome word that she shared. But it's important,
It is.
you have people draining you. You got to do something about that. You know what I'm saying? Because you can,
So I'm gonna pose a question to you,
yeah,
and it ain't no wrong or right answer, but I like where your mama going with the quote or whatever the scripture is. So if you do have people around you that you feel are draining you, is it that you get from around them, or you impact them, or they gonna end up
it's,
impacting you?
it's both, right?
Okay.
So what I always try to do is be impactful, but the other thing about it is you can't make anybody do anything.
Okay.
You can just move how you move, and that's going to let you know. And it can go into a bunch of different ways. Maybe you don't have the right influence. Maybe your methods of trying to impact somebody are wrong, and it can always point back to you as not doing the right thing. But holistically speaking, if you're just being who you are, being a positive person, like my podcast, I'm allowing anybody who wants to come on, do their thing. And if there's somebody that's trying to get their business off the ground and they're watching and they don't ever tell me they want to come on the show, and this is just an example, you know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Uh, and then they turn around and say, well, man, you ain't never asked me to come on the show. Well, if you've been watching me, then you already know. All you have to do is let me know. I can't. That's another thing. I can't know everybody to act.
Yeah. It's not a riddle. You can't
Yeah.
figure out what
So
somebody's
it's
thinking.
already understood that all you have to do is ask, and I'm booked the show as long as I'm available. I mean, not if I'm available, but if I have an opening, you can come on. It's no big deal. So for me, it's you have to just move how you move, remain to be that positive person because somebody's going to latch on to that. And if they don't, then yeah, guess what? If you stay around them, then you're going to get impacted by their negative thoughts and all that type of stuff. So that's how I look at it. I think it's every individual's responsibility to change how other people look at the stuff. But if they don't, then it is what it is. You just have to keep moving on. And it's sort of for me, it's like I have friends from back in the day. We were like this. Growing up on 7700 Corporate Drive. Shout out to my old school family. But there's also those folks from where I grew up from that I don't really talk to on a daily basis no more. We just grow apart. But when I see them, it's like we never missed a beat. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It just is what it is. And I don't shy away from that. I'm doing what I'm doing. If you're not on my page as far as the good vibes, then I'm not trying to be around it. Yeah, so that's kind of same question to you. How do you feel about it?
You done gave me such a good answer. I'm like, how do I feel about that?
Yeah, same question to you.
If I had to say, I don't really have a whole lot of negative. I ain't even gonna say it's negative. I just say people have their own opinion because that's all it is. I just tell you this personal story, and this is personal. So,
Mhm.
um, I don't even know. My mom passed away about. I always say 3 years ago because it seemed like it was like yesterday. So I always just say 3 years. I'm like she passed away about 3 years ago. So in that timing, I found a reason to live. Like you only have moments. So my mom passed away in a moment. It's like you breathing today and you not breathing the next moment. So you only have that one moment. And when I figured that out, I just don't really dwell on a whole lot. So if you negative, I ain't even dwelling long enough to know you negative.
Right,
If
right.
that make any
Yeah,
sense.
yeah.
Because
It don't connect with you. It don't connect.
yeah, it don't really connect with me. So if you negative, you might be negative. I don't really know because hey Mika,
Yeah,
Mika saying hi. Yeah, I don't really I'm not gonna harbor on it. You understand what I'm saying? And then in the same breath, I don't know why that person feel like that. So
right.
it ain't for me to judge why you feel a certain way because life is about learning. It's just a learning journey.
Yeah, it really is. It really is. And it's just I have to go back. We've had a few comments. Man, what's up, Mika Diamond? Shout out to my man, Coach Brown. And going back a little bit, Candace, we were talking earlier, and she said my dad and Osha Lawson created Look. They said image. I was Kamala Harris. Okay, and that's when we were talking about the hair and looking up to part. Coach said, "This is Coach Brown, man. What's up, brother? I appreciate you tuning in. This is another strong supporter of mine." He says, "My mom, my mother-in-law always said, once you step outside of your house, you're on stage." Yeah, and I sum that up by saying my mom always told me there's always somebody watching. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? So you definitely have to keep that in mind, as you move around. That's another thing that's important is that no matter what you do, there's always somebody looking. I'll put myself on the stage right quick, and this is personal, but there was a situation probably about a week and a half so ago, right? And very, very sensitive topic for me. But there was an individual who knows about this situation, and for whatever reason, I'm gonna just say wanted to try me, And so I lost my cool, and I'm like, bro, like, are you serious? Like, I'm talking to the point where I'm ready to put them paws on, like, I'm ready to put them paws on you, bro.
I
Like,
can't even imagine you so chill.
man, that's what I'm saying. I'm not tripping, but and it's somebody watching that probably knows what I'm talking about. But it's like there's certain things about me, like just don't press me on those things. Like, and we gonna be straight, but you're literally pressing me. So I lost my cool, and it literally almost went there, because I'm not perfect. And like I had to start talking to myself in the moment. I really didn't start talking to myself. I guess I'll say that was God talking to me, and it was like, calm down, bro. Why are you even giving this person this response, this energy? You know what I'm saying? So I had to literally just chill. And after I thought about it, and this is speaking about there's always somebody watching, like I spoke to an individual and he was like, man, the thing you can't remember is you got things going on, man. You know what I'm saying? The people are beneath you. They ain't nowhere near what you got going on. You know, don't let them affect those things because there's always somebody watching. You know how these youngsters are. They whip out a camera and they got that on camera. They put it on Facebook. Then what you gonna look like? You know, because they don't know the whole story. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, you know what? You're right. I couldn't say nothing. You know, it's like, you know what? You're right. So I gotta chill. But you know, we all have those buttons, and we just have to remember that no matter what, there's always somebody watching. Don't let anybody get you to that point to where you lose your cool. You know what I mean? Because it's going to affect so many other things. And at the end of the day, they're going to be laughing at you. You know what I'm saying? Because that was their goal to begin with, you know? And so that's just a little testimony on my behalf. You know what I mean?
I call it growth.
Yeah.
Growth.
Yeah.
That's a little bit of growth.
Yeah, because you know it becomes a point where it's like there's been so many, like my grandmother and just so many different things going on. It's like you about to get the brunt of everything that I'm going through, you know? But you know, and then want to try to come say I'm tripping. But anyway, it's just that's speaking on. We have to be mindful of ourselves at all times, you know, because the world is really a stage when you, like Coach say, when you step outside of your circle and step outside of your home. You have to always keep that kingship and that queenship over you. Wear that like a coat, you know, and really just step in those footsteps every day. You know, shout out to Sister Lisa Scrubs and Love. Shout out to I'm sorry,
Oh, I
Sister
love
Linda. Yeah, and that's my
Linda.
mom's name, so I'll never
I
forget her.
know. I'm like, ain't
Appreciate
that
you.
name Linda?
Yeah, Linda. I'm talking about Lisa. You know me and names.
I know you a name. You a face
Tinker.
person. You are a face person. You are not a name person.
Not a name person. I'm telling you, it's gonna take me about 5 or 10 times to make sure.
No. Not no 5 or 10. We already been through 5 or 10.
That's just you, though. That's just you. I know. I said TAKIA. I got it now.
And then if we rewind this show, you already said it.
I said it. I already said it.
So we ain't gonna rewind nothing
Yeah,
though.
absolutely.
But
So,
to piggyback on what you're saying, in certain situations, if somebody get me upset, it take a lot for me to get upset. One thing.
You talking about me? I can't even picture you. You talking about me? I can't even picture it. Yeah.
It take a lot for me to get upset. It's usually a moral base that kind of get me upset. So it's not really like you got me upset, but it's like, dang, that's morally wrong.
Yeah.
Anyway, in that, like I say, I'm 42 now. You ain't talking to the 21-year-old Takia. You talking to a 42-year-old Takia.
Yeah.
In a lot of instances, I didn't learn to look at myself in all situations. Mm-hmm. So if somebody get me upset, it's not what you did. It's why am I upset? Because they did this. Yeah. So it take a lot of going into yourself and learning yourself what structures you to get upset, what structures you to get happy. So I don't know. I just don't like extending that amount of power to somebody and saying you got me upset. Right. No, I allowed myself to get upset. What made me get upset? So this is learning a lot about yourself. Right. And you're absolutely right. And that was the thing I had to look back. It's like, nah, they didn't get you upset. You allowed that to happen. You know what I'm saying? So definitely that's one of the things. And so we have to keep ourselves grounded. That's where that mental space comes in. Always leave time to decompress. You know, let the woes of the world and the daily life, you know, just get out of your inner spirit, because again, we're all dealing with stuff, especially with this COVID, which is something I like to touch on. I can't remember if we touched on it at first, but because that's the space that we're in, how has it affected you business-wise, or has it affected you? Because to me, it seems like it's two sides of the COVID world right now. COVID has actually helped a lot of people come up, so to speak, and then it's also hampered a lot of people from being, you know, in the places that they need to be.
What's your COVID story? I guess I would say.
I would say, okay, initially COVID. The word COVID is like,
Yeah,
COVID.
yeah, yeah,
Anyway, initially COVID was a stress for me. It had me with anxiety.
yeah,
I mean, anxiety to the point where I felt like I was just out of body. Like, this not my body. This
yeah.
not me. So it had me with a lot of anxiety. So anyway, I ended up, I think I said a quiet prayer to God. I'm like, Lord, you got to help me.
Yeah,
I can't be in this kind of headspace.
yeah.
And that's when I ended up calling my grandfather.
Okay.
And my grandfather I want to say he about 90 years old now.
Seeking out that wisdom. Seeking out
Yeah,
wisdom.
wisdom.
Yeah.
And I called him and I said, let me call my granddaddy and see how he doing. Because I'm thinking older people, this was when it first initially started. They in the house. They can't even go out. So I'm thinking I'm calling him, giving him some words of encouragement.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, granddaddy, I said, how you doing? And he gave me 2 scriptures. He said, I'm fine, baby.
They always fine. They always.
Fine, honey.
Yeah.
Well, how you doing? And I said,
He's
I'm all
back
right.
in Georgia.
Yeah, he in Georgia.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he gave me 2 scriptures to read, and I'm gonna have to post them 2 scriptures because when I tell you those scriptures, just from that day forward.
Tag me when you post it, please.
Okay. Those 2 scriptures just settled my soul, my whole soul. From that day forward, I just kind of looked at COVID as and I'm not taking away that it's real or it's fake, because some people can say it's real and it's fake or whatever. It was just that I had to come to a balancing act with that one.
Yeah.
So in business, it's ironic because my business did a whole lot better because people need a hairstyle that they can literally put on, contactless, and it look good on the Zoom meeting.
Yeah, already.
So
yes.
So it kind of boosted in that aspect and business wise. And then in another aspect, it gave you time to sit down and you go and decipher what's important and what's not important, things that you're going to take away because you ain't going to have time to be able to deal with it mentally no more. So I took a lot of sitting down time.
Right.
A lot of just quiet time to just reconnect to stuff that I like to do, or reconnect and revisit myself a whole lot. I connect with a lot of family members. I connect with a lot of people because people, like I say, they give me energy.
Yeah.
A lot of times.
Absolutely. And here's my baby girl. Yeah, that's my baby girl.
That's your baby?
Yeah, and she said, hey, Miss Scott. So, look, I got to put her on the spot. I don't know if you're still in this space, but this is my baby girl. I know she's still watching. That was supposed to connect with you. So,
I know.
Yeah, we're going to get on her. I don't know. So talk to her. Are you still in that space to be able to do that right now?
Yeah, always. I told you we feed off of each other's energy. We feed off, and if it's something that I done been through and I done learned from it,
yeah,
baby, you ain't got to go through it because, hey, I can help you out in this area because I'm pretty sure you're going to help me out in a certain area too.
Yeah. So, Monty, get with Miss Scott, inbox her. You know, that was a connection that was supposed to happen a little while back, but, you know, there's different things that happen. And she know I'm always messing with her, but, you know, I'm always trying to connect them to positive people. You know what I'm saying? And so, you know, it's just an extended family. So she should reach out to you real soon and try to revisit that whole situation.
I might need to reach out to her because she take a long time.
Yeah. And look, she talking about, see, already, she got an old soul. Talking about, wait, what? I don't remember. You remember I was telling you this is the lady that was going to mentor you when you were over there at old school with the hair thing. So, you know, get with her, Armani. Anyway, enough of that. She talking about, I will reach out. Okay, baby. But no, let's rewind and see, now she's laughing out loud. I want to give you another commercial on this part because something that touched me, you said the business took off because people needed wigs to look good on Zoom meetings. And that was a real statement, but you said it jokingly. So revisit that because there's a lot of people watching right now that need that.
That's how it ended up being. I ended up doing I do a lot of consultations virtually. So I'm able to get a whole lot of detail. I'm able to visually see you and then take measurements, take all kind of details. I do still take people in my office when they come into the salon and stuff. But if it's people who have certain special circumstances, then your hair unit can be shipped to you, shipped to your front door. And at first I was delivering them, but I'm a one-man show, so I couldn't do that. So I ended up shipping them out.
Okay. And so just kind of talking about that again, kind of giving the details. So they reach out to you, they schedule an appointment, and you go through the process.
The first part of the process is a consultation, because with hair units, they all customize. Everybody got something. I'm telling you, everything is different for each person. In other words, this hair unit I got on, you ain't gonna be able to put it on. You understand? So I would have to create a whole different hair unit for LeVar.
Right.
So a consultation is the most important step. That is the most important step. I can't stress enough how much the consultation is the most important step in the whole process. But once that process is done, then if you got hair issues as far as scalp issues and stuff where you deal with a dermatologist, I usually partner with the dermatologist first too. So I'm partnering with your dermatologist to see what treatments are best for your head. And then if the unit is constructed, and you can either come in and have it put on personally, or it's put on virtually.
Gotcha.
Where you sitting and you putting it on, and we're putting it on together.
Yeah, you real live with it. You real live with it. I like it. I love it. And I just when you said that, I was like, you know what? This is not something that needs to be just swept over. You know what I'm saying? Because
I appreciate that.
That's a big thing right now. You know what I mean? There's so many people that, we've gotten lazy because we work from home. We've gotten used to work from home, and, we don't even feel like getting up. But, that's another quick way for people to, get a chance to witness what you do, and then just go from there. So,
well, you was talking about creative ways to even deal with COVID. I tell you, when I tell you relationship building been so impactful for me right now during COVID. This morning I was talking to my godmama, and this is now over the years. I think I probably talked to my godmama probably 5 times over the years since I was a little girl. But now we're setting up a family reunion on Zoom where everybody gonna connect. Everybody gonna bring their stories of how they didn't grow up, pictures. We able to share pictures. My family, we've been doing Bible study on Zoom. We ended up, it's just so many different ways to be creative at this point doing Zoom. My niece, me and her, we read books together on Zoom or whatever. I mean, it's just, that's what I mean by a community of people. You got to have really good, strong community of people. And when a person down, you there to build them up. And then when you down, they there to build you up too.
Yeah, absolutely. And so let's, you see what's on the screen. Kathy said, wait, let's do a virtual so I can show my bald, damaged head so I can get my headshots done. So she definitely needs me. Kathy's so silly. Yeah. But no, that's definitely important. And again, of course, goes into what we're talking about with the conversation is those interconnections that you can make with family, the connections you can make abroad with different people. We can reach out to people in all parts of the world right now.
Every part of the world, yeah. I just started talking to people in New York, people in Connecticut, New Jersey, like, and it's still like, because I think human connection is very important. It's vital. And I think that's probably one of the hardest things going through COVID right now is that you don't have the human connection, which we discounted it for so long because that was our norm. But human connection is important.
Absolutely. Shout out to Sister Eureka Johnson. She's a vital part of the support that I get, as well. So I just want to say shout out to her. And, this is a perfect time because she be doing them hairdos too. You know what I'm saying? So this is another opportunity.
Reach out.
Do your next commercial. You know what I'm saying? For her and for anybody else who's listening, I always like to get my guests to do it 2 or 3 times. So go ahead and let people know who you are again.
again, I'm Takia Scott, CEO of Sophisticated Images, where we transform lives through hair replacement, one unit at a time.
Absolutely, absolutely. And y'all can find her on Facebook. Got everything on the screen, and then also she has a website that you guys can visit. But I mean, time flies when you're having fun, man. It's already 7:45, But I definitely appreciate everything you've been telling the people and just having a good and great conversation. And let me see what this last comment is saying. Oh, she says, thank you. You definitely appreciate it. But so we were talking about how people can get their hair units for you. We were jokingly speaking about for the Zoom meetings, but that's something that's serious, So y'all reach out to my sister Queen, you know what I'm saying?
Sister Queen,
Queen, and
Brother King,
and get your hairdos done. But uh, I'm losing my train of thought. But another thing I want to talk about, upon the King and Queen conversations is how vitally important it is for not only the support, but we have to intentionally stop what we're doing sometimes and make it a point to support somebody else. If it's just making a post, sharing a post, shouting somebody out, that's something in the lane that I'm in that I feel like is very important for us in building up the community, is giving people the exposure, which is the main reason for my show. This is my way of being selfless and just bring as many people as I can get on, making sure people know about you, and this is my way of giving back. And I hope, that it's appreciated in the way that I appreciate just you giving your time, because there's plenty of things that you can be doing right now, So speak on that. How do you feel about that?
For me personally, you asking for personal opinion.
Yeah, absolutely. It's personal.
I look at it like this. So when my birthday come around, when Christmas come around, anytime something come around, my family always asks me, "What you want?" And I'm always like, "Hey, don't ask me what I want. Just surprise me."
Yeah.
Because I look at it like, if you put me in a box, I'm just gonna do what. If you want me to just make a post, that's just what I'm gonna do. Yeah. But you might do something more extraordinary that I can even think of. Right. So do what is good for you. If you desire to
good knowledge.
If you desire to do something different, do that different. Because I'm not gonna be thinking about it. Right. I promise you, I'm not gonna think like what you think. You understand what I'm saying? So absolutely. I like to keep people in their own lane. You just do you. If yours is not reposting what I didn't posted, yours might be referring somebody quietly. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it's no wrong way of doing it. It's how I look at it. Absolutely. Everything is 100%. You blessing others with what you would call your 10%. That's your 100%. I love it.
Right. Absolutely. And so yeah, you're basically saying what I'm saying, but it's not specifically do it this way. Be creative in the way that you want to do it and share it in the way you want to share it. And I definitely support that. So we're in agreement on that. So this is the point of the show where I say, what's on your mind, Takia? What do you want to share? What are some of your last words that you'd like to give? Or just another topic we can talk about, because we got about 10 minutes left. What would you
a topic I would want to see in the future? I don't even know if I got any last words. My last words is always let go and let God. All right, because I'd be like, for me it was more submission. So I had to submit to his will, and he made a way. So mine is more let go and let God. But in future conversations, if I had to come up with one, it's kind of like everybody in a different kind of headspace with education right now. Yeah. Especially if you got school-age kids. I don't have school-age kids, so I can't even imagine being in that headspace, because this is also new. But as a community of kings and queens, how can we help in that headspace for the parents who are working from home, educating from home, dealing with COVID? How, as a community of kings and queens, can we come together to help them out?
Tune in next week, because look, I'm all of that. I got my son upstairs, probably on Zoom class
See,
right now. It's definitely, and I'll just touch on it a little bit again from personal experience. It's just crazy. I missed, like, I was in the open house last night, missed part of the open house because everything's virtual. You get in the class, some classes are loading up, the other classes not loading up. So
see,
you
I'm not even in that headspace
yeah.
at
And
all.
my son is starting football. We got a football parent meeting tonight. We got to get on a virtual call for that. So I tried to steal as much information last night as I could because they're already expecting to have some different type of issues, and it's limited to the amount of people that can get on. So you never know what's going to happen. But it's I don't know. It's good and bad, and that's always the case with everything. It's always a good and a bad. I like having my sons here at home to where I can be right there and help them. But at the
Yeah,
same
yeah.
time, it's like you need to get on and do it by yourself. You know what I mean? But so that's the thing for me because I'm like overly involved with them, and that's just part of my story and why I am. And it's hard for me to kind of let them go. So I feel great about being able to be there, like in the moment. I got his stuff on my phone, so I can log in like I'm a student. And
Been
just check.
there, done that. I done
Yeah,
did all of that. I
yeah,
done been there,
so,
done all of that. That's why I say I can't imagine because I know that type of parenting I was
yeah,
and the type of parenting that is needed today dealing with COVID
yeah,
is totally different because people have different barriers. It's some people that's not even computer illiterate. Like they don't
yeah.
even know how to power up the computer, let
Right.
alone go to a Zoom
Go
meeting.
through it. Yeah, and that's the thing. I still feel, and we're in Fort Bend. I know they've done everything that they need to do, and that's part of what I'm going to talk about too. Is that they using this thing called One Link, right? And so then when they hand out the tablets, you just it's one link. Everything comes up under the one link, and so there's a bunch of different apps that come up. But yet and still, they tell us, oh, well, don't log into it. On that, go to the web. Well, what's the point of the one link? You know what I'm saying? Because it's not operating. But you got to understand that that's technology. There's going to be
Yeah, it's
certain
gonna be
issues,
glitches.
and there's going to be issues that you have. And like Sister Johnson, shout out to Sister Eureka Johnson and my girl Macy Benet, that's her daughter. Shout out to them. That's a mom and a daughter adopted through Dad Chronicles. We got something special coming up for them, so y'all stay tuned for that. But it's keeping up with the schedule. They still have to get up early in the morning. They have to be on. Well, my son has to be on by 8:45. He's going through his class, and it's crazy. I'm talking about my 5-year-old, well, 6 now. My 6-year-old, he gets that tablet and he just pressing it like he know what he's doing. He's like,
Well, another aspect of it is the kids who have learning disabilities. I dealt
yeah,
with that
yeah,
with just regular education. So kids who have learning disabilities that still got to deal with virtual, and then you have an economic barrier where it's some kids that's more privileged than other kids that they just not gonna get the
they're
same
not gonna get
education.
it. Right. And that's what I was gonna touch on is that he knows what he's doing. But again, like you say, what about those kids that have a hard time with somebody with them at the school? And
Mm-hmm.
so a problem and a solution, that's something that I'm trying to get going, but it's also the people that are in education that deal with the special ed, they're already like they're full. You know what I'm saying? So they can't
Yeah.
really, give those individual kids the time because they also still have to fulfill their duties. And so that's a call to action that I'm thinking about trying to organize. You know what I'm saying? And get some people who there's some people out there who have the time and have the ability to give back in that way. So that's actually, let me just make that known. That's another initiative that I'm looking to start up because, like I said, it's all about the boys and the girls, the men and the women, and that's for everybody. You know what I mean? And that's,
Mm-hmm.
with this COVID, that's something that's pressing on my heart. And I don't want to put anything out there that I can't fulfill. You know what I'm saying? That's another a big thing about me. If I say I'm gonna do something, if I put it out there, I'm gonna do it. Because there's a lot of that.
Man of your word.
Yeah, I definitely got to fulfill the duties of what I say I'm going to do. And it might come sooner, it might come later, but as long as it gets done, that's the main thing for me. So that's something I want to focus on. You know what I'm saying? Is getting that handle. And if it's if it's just one kid, I've done my part. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
And that's what I say every week. As long as I touch the soul of one individual with my shows each week, then I feel like my job is done. And thus far, little do people know, I get these inboxes, I get text messages, emails, from not only one person, but a couple people each week, and they've let me know how important the show is to them. And I'm hoping there's somebody that can seek some hair restoration, seek those wigs, seek the confidence that they're going to get from connecting with Tika Scott. No, I'm sorry. Tika Scott.
You playing.
Yeah. So I want them to be blessed with just your presence, sister. And I just want to let you know that you have an amazing smile, amazing spirit, and you definitely inspire me with your grandbabies and all the stuff that you do online. You just keep doing what you're doing because that confidence is one of the things that I see you giving back to individuals. You know what I'm saying? And that's I know, but I think it goes well beyond probably what you can imagine. You know what I'm saying? And it's those quiet moments. People at home, they probably crying, holding that wig, like, man, if it wasn't, I just think way further than what people probably can imagine. And it's somebody that's doing that. Like, honestly, it's really somebody who has gotten the services from you who are thinking like that, you know what I'm saying, and have probably had those type of moments. Might not be as dramatic as I'm saying it, but they're having those moments. Because,
I deal with a lot of people where I'm meeting people where they are.
Yeah, and you're getting down with them, so that's a big deal. Definitely a big deal. So like you say, let go and let God. Anybody with hair loss and wondering what can you do, you looking at this individual right now. Y'all deal with Miss TAKIA Scott, and she gonna take care of it. And Miss Eureka John, she says, I wish her great and abundant success.
I appreciate that, Miss Eureka.
Absolutely. So again, I know you say you didn't really have any. We're in the closing minutes. What last words, or what advice, what wisdom you want to give? You had called Grandpa for wisdom.
Well, my grandpa, he gave me those 2 scriptures that I'm gonna repost because
Absolutely.
it fed my soul.
You're gonna tag me.
I'm gonna tag you. I'm gonna tag you.
What wisdom you want to leave with the people?
What you say?
I say, so what wisdom you want to leave with the people?
He gave me this wisdom to have a mustard seed of faith. So with that, I ended up making some necklaces with mustard seeds in it. And it just reminded me all the time just to have a mustard seed of faith. But I ended up having like a lot of mustard seeds. But I get the point. You get the point.
That's good. That's good. And something else that you can turn into a business, man. You know what I'm saying? Mustard seed jewelry. You know what I'm saying? And people hold on to things like, I got this necklace, I got this wristband.
Yeah,
that's my favorite.
It's a constant reminder. It's a constant reminder.
It's like people wear the cross. They go with them.
Yeah,
that could take off. That could take off. But go ahead. I'm saying time. Go ahead. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish your statement.
That's all I got for you. That's all I got.
Yeah. So look, as soon as we get into this next studio, get everything set up. I need you back on my first opening. Hopefully you can be available because we gotta make this in studio. Yeah, we gotta make this in studio thing happen.
Y'all gotta see my background right now.
Yeah, but it looks good. And you also painted your picture in your background.
Yeah, I painted my picture.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's my downtime. I will create some artwork.
Absolutely. So I feel like we've touched on some things. The first episode of the Reach podcast with the King and Queen Conversation series. And so each week there'll be different guests featured, and we'll touch on a different variety of topics. And there's a lot of things. I actually was like, man, we had to improvise today. So I was feeling like I didn't know how it was going to go. I think it was great. I really
it went well with me.
And I appreciate, again, you being here. But you guys stay tuned, stay locked in. Every Thursday, 10:30 to noon. There's much more to come. Different individuals still highlighting their businesses or organizations, what they're doing in the community. And we're definitely just going to give you some real talk. That's what it's all about. Helping our community and also our culture be much bigger and be much better, and also giving you some advice, wisdoms, and things that we can speak from a personal level. We're not counselors or anything like that, but just giving our own self experiences. Everybody's stories can help somebody, so that's a big thing for me, and again, I appreciate you, Miss Takia Scott, for being on the show.
You get an A.
Everybody,
you pronounced it right.
yeah. And so another thing, I would assume this, and I don't want anybody to assume the same thing. Not assume the same thing is do you just do regular hair as well? Do you take just regular hair appointments?
I used to,
Okay.
but I had to get away from it because I got sick 3 times in 1 year. My body was just saying, no, you ain't gonna be able to do this. That's
Okay.
why I ended up saying I had to submit to God's will. So that's when I'm like, Lord, you're gonna have to find a way for me to do what your will is and not break down my health. So that's
Okay.
how I ended up just focusing in on hair replacement because it's what I've been doing since birth. But
Okay.
I partner with a lot of other stylists that we cross market a lot. I cross
Okay.
market a lot. So
Yeah.
I do have a lot of referrals for natural hair or somebody who dealing with their own hair, but I partner you with somebody who can take care of all your needs.
Gotcha. So that's another big thing, and we appreciate that. Salute to everybody that's in your network. Wish all of you guys nothing but success. Takia, I'm going to be contacting you. Remember, Black business is important, but all business matters as well. Let's not be too selfish on that, but we definitely want our culture to thrive and succeed. So it's important that we support each other. But I'm gonna get with you on the whole little Black Wall Street thing that I was talking about.
Okay.
See where you fit in on that, and we'll go more into because I didn't realize that was the reason why you said what you said about why you only focus on hair restoration, and your health. But y'all look forward and stay tuned to the Reach Podcast Show. Look for Miss Takia Scott on her next visit. We're going to talk all about sophisticated images. We're going to talk about the life story because it really is a life story. And if you missed it the first time around, third time's a charm, Takia.
Third
time's
time's
a charm. Yes, ma'am. So I can't wait to have you back, sister. And, God bless you. And I appreciate everybody tuning in. And this is the Reach Podcast with LeVar Ellis. Appreciate y'all tuning in. Catch us next week. Next week is my sister Mika Diamond. We're gonna talk about a few things.
I'll be tuned into that one.
We're gonna have another great show. And I guess I've had this show booked for a couple months now. So actually, she's busy. I need to actually touch base and make sure she's still locked in because I'm once a week, so it's nothing to book my shows out. So I actually need to touch base. But just look for the show next week. I'll be posting it up. And hopefully she's still locked in. And if she is, it'll be a great show again. So again, the Reach Podcast Show with LeVar Ellis. My special guest today, Ms. Takia Scott of Sophisticated Images. Appreciate you, sister.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We'll be in touch. You guys have a great rest of your weekend and be blessed.
Thanks.